Hey guys, my name is Talia. I'm a staff member at Discovery, and I'm going to help you do your homework today. In this problem, we want to write the Python code that'll calculate the total number of applicants for every major and store it in a new column. So here we're dealing with a data frame. I kind of made a shortened version of it so it's easier to see. In the real problem, there's majors A through E, and I think there's like an other or something. But basically, the whole big table full of people who applied to UC-Berkeley under different majors, what year they applied in, what gender they are, that kind of stuff. And so in this problem, you want to analyze each major as a whole. And one way we can break data down into groups while still looking at the whole entire thing is with grouping functions, which we've been learning about. And in this problem, because you're looking at the Python code that'll look at data for each major, you want to group by major. So you want to make your data frame called df major, for example. You can call it whatever you want, but I think this is the most self-explanatory. Equals df.groupBy, pulling out your group by function, and here you want to group by major, like I said. And basically what this does, what the grouping function will do, is over here, I have written out, it basically reshuffles all the data you have and it puts it in an order that has major groups. So for example, now all the major A is together in one group, and all the applicants of major B are together in one group, and then the actual data frame under this will be major C, then D, then E, but this is easier to look at because I don't want to write out the entire thing. So now that we've had this, we can see, all right, maybe we can go through and count like 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh my god, it's taking too long. Okay, let's make some code for this because I don't want to count. Another thing that we like to do with grouping is called aggregating, which basically takes the group's data frame and kind of smushes it to make every group one row, and then it spits out a statistic for each group that's like easy for us to analyze. So for example, if I aggregate what I already have here, you just add it onto the same line of code, .add. And here, since we're taking the total number of applications, we want to count, right? So you aggregate, there's an aggregation type called count. And then remember, when you're aggregating, you always want to reset the index. Anyway, what you have here now transforms the data frame again. And like I said before, it smushes every group into a single row. And it changes the data in each column to be whatever statistic you told it to take. So for this one, we want it to count. So it'll just count the number of rows in every group. So like 1, 2, 2. It'll be 1, 1, 2, also for gender. 1, 2 for admission. For major B, it'll be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now you have this. This is the aggregated data frame. And so for the next step, you want to make a new column called applicants. At this point, the data you want in applicants, it doesn't matter which column you take it from. Notice how every column becomes the same. That's because, again, you're just counting the number of rows. It's not dependent on what data is in the column. So now, we can create a new column in df major called applicants. This is how you make a new column. If you recall, you just put some brackets in there. And now you have the power. You can just set this equal to whatever column you want. It really doesn't matter because the data is going to be the same for each one. So let's just do gender, for example. but you have to be really careful to make sure you're using the data frame that you grouped and aggregated. Because here, gender is not equal to the number of applicants. The number of applicants is not male or female. The number of applicants is 2 and 3. So you have to make sure, that's the power of aggregating, is that you can take data that is not really easily analyzable and kind of change it to work in your favor. So now you have this new column and the information is stored. The new column is it's going to look like all the rest of them. It's just going to look like 2, 3. And now that you have this, I think the question asks you to store it in a data frame called df applicants. And the last step you just set it equal to df major, and then it'll be stored in the right data frame so that it'll grade it correctly. And now df applicants will have the 2 requirements for this question. It has a major column and it has an applicants column. That's how you do this.